Hello and welcome back to Steve Whitmer's writing episode 5, and today with a Charlie behind the camera and his youthful assistant to his left, who has an age of about 150 years. We're going to be looking at my very latest publication, which I may have mentioned in the last video, which is called A Gathering of Children's Poetry. Now, these are 20 poems which were collated from my previous 5 books, one still to be published, and were got together after I was working with Cedar Road Primary School, which is a brilliant place, and the kids and the teachers who have been very supportive. So these should be suitable for Year 5s, Year 6 children, etc. So what I'm going to do today, his assistant has fallen asleep. So what I'm going to do today is going to read some of these out to you, and I hope you enjoy them. Some of them are from a few years ago, and okay, right, let's start with, these are in the process of being with a publishing house, so you can't buy these at the moment, but if you contact me, I'll see what I can do. Right, this first poem is called The Parsonage, which I wrote following a trip to Haworth, where the Brontes lived, about 3-4 years ago, and it's very Spike Milligan. Okay, so here we go. Let me glass up, see what I'm not doing. The wind blew down and lifted latches. It snuffed out candles and rattled catches. Letters were lost and syllables ran out. Water scurried back up the water spout. Pages were scattered and men, women and children whisked away. Oops. Dogs howled and cats screeched, even the unholy preached. That's Haworth today. Windows rattled and shutters flapped wide. The storm increased with nowhere to hide. Rain seeped under blinds and around doors, and the wind came cackling down from the moors. The dead covered their ears in the church grounds, and the vicar's frock lifted, which made him frown. Forces of nature, and God tested them at that time, when the hour stopped and the clock refused to chime. Moans danced in the darkness corridors, moving up and down between the floors. The girls held each other tight on that terrible, terrible autumn night. Their words of comfort, not of prose or verse, amongst cries of alarm and curse. The fear and despair seen in their looks, carefully transcribed into their books, preserved with ink, and on page, the fury of the stormy rage. November 2020. There you go. So I hope you enjoyed it anyway. There's a poem called Granny, written by Milligan. And if you read that one out of his books, you'll see where I got that one from. Okay, here's one just slightly more controversial. Another long one. Most of mine are short. This is called, and my assistant and my editor have not heard these. This is called Mum's Knickers. Okay. I actually read this out. One of the students read this out the other day and they said it was good. Us kids were playing in the sand at the coast when my sister says, "What frightens you the most?" "Lots of things," said I, "such as being chased by a dog or poked in the eye." "What about you, Jenny, my dear? Is it getting lost or a bee going in your ear?" She looked quite serious. A tear formed and her eyelashes began to flicker. "None of those. What I fear most are Mum's knickers." "What?" said I, taken aback, for they bother me not a jot, although she does seem to have an awful lot. When I grow up, I want to wear some that are small and petite, not them things that would cover half the street. I grimaced and gave her ribs a dug, or even a dig. "Don't worry, sis, I'm sure you'll never get any that big." "Thanks, Danny, do you think?" "All I want is some dainty and pink, not ones that you could use to clean the sink." "She has lots of them too. I went in their room and counted 34. "Crikey," said I, "that's enough to cover the entire floor." "Not only that, some of them are worn and tired. Others are clearly expired." It's very sad, I know. She must have let it all go down below, to keep those bits smothered, permanently encased in stretch cotton covered. Permanently encased. I've just said that a bit, sorry. I tell you what, let's tell Dad. Tell him we think her knickers are very sad. Jenny firmed up and said, "It was a good idea. Knickers shouldn't induce fear. We only want to do our best and should tell him it's in everyone's interest. Go and put those massive old knickers out to rest." That evening they cautiously approached Dad, hoping that he wouldn't get too mad. Danny spoke up. "You can't be happy. A lot of them are yuck and crappy, and there are so many, it's insanity. At this rate you could make them into a canopy." He shrugged his shoulders and screwed up his face. Children, a man has to know his place. I'd love to get her to wear some nice ones more, but she won't let me anywhere near a knicker drawer. Leave it with me. I'll see what I can do. Knickers are very personal and they're like a law. If I go on, she'll probably just buy more. So think of them as tea towels and just walk away. And maybe soon, in her eyes, there will be a glint and a look that's silly. And as if by magic, something will appear that's frilly. And that was actually only written a couple of months ago. I hope you enjoyed that one. And that is it's not similar, but I wrote a poem that's called a play called Granny's Knicker Drawer. That's one of my play books. And you might like to go and read that. It's about an old granny who goes to live with a young family. And she's very untidy, and they go through her suitcase. And they found in her stuff in a book drawer, and they found an envelope which is packed full of of share certificates going back years. Yeah. And that's why it's called Granny's Knicker Drawer. And they pull these share certificates out all in an envelope. And it turns out she's a millionaire. And she didn't even know. Anyway, another long one. This is called Billy's Day Out. I hope I'm not boring you. A big day for Billy, so his parents said. Go to the do, said they, rather than just lay in bed. See the beasts and hear them roar. Much better than playing with your toys on the floor. So they turned up at the place, and there was much to see. All kind of creatures from land, air and sea. We'll have a coffee, Mum said to Billy. You go off and have the sun, but don't do anything silly. So he walked around and saw many creatures he feared, cages containing the odd and the weird. He looked at them and them at tea, when a big fearsome lion said to Billy, Would you like to talk with me? Well, Billy's jaw fell and he dropped his ice cream. You want to talk with me? Is that what you mean? Yes, said the lion, for you look quite sad. Billy nodded back. It's the worst birthday I've ever had. Where are your friends? Said the lion. You're all here on your own. Billy shed a tear and let out a groan. I thank you, great beast, for being so kind. It's a great weight lifted off my mind. Billy went off to see a gnu, who remarked, Billy, old son, you've got no pals with you. I know. That's what the lion just said. Billy replied, they're probably all at home lying in bed. And I'm all by myself at the zoo talking to no people, just silly old you. Billy wandered on and more animals tried to greet him and say hello, but Billy decided he wanted to go. He went to the shop and gazed at the toys, but what he really wanted was some fun with the boys. His mum appeared out of nowhere and took him by the arm, and they stood outside a room just by the side of an animal farm. Billy said, Mum, I need to go to the loo. I'm ready to burst. She replied, In a bit, son, but we really need to go in here first. Billy cried, Oh no, not another flipping animal, and stamped his feet. But Mum insisted he had to go and meet. But instead of wildlife, the room was full of his birthday pals, George, Freddie, Sam and Al, all waving and shouting, Coke and cake. Billy thought, what a feast that would make. Not one single animal was there around, not one single beast, no single roaring sound. He told of his talks and creatures weird and bad, but no one believed him and said he was mad. As Billy went home, happy and full up too, he reflected on his time he's had at the zoo. He thanked his mum and his friends who turned up to wish him well, but secretly he thought that talking to animals was the most swell. There you go. It's quite a long one, that. Hope you like that. Right, this is a short one, and this is a nod to the great Gary Larson, cartoonist, who wrote an awful lot about monsters and creatures. Yep. I'll stop here while my editor's assistant has just woken up and nearly fallen off his chair. Right, monsters. This is the last one, folks. I won't bore you much. Monsters are hiding everywhere. They are under your bed and under your stairs, in your cellar and up in the roof, all evil in looks and sharp of tooth. They wake up at night and move around, never disturbing you or making a sound, emptying your fridge and breaking your toys. They don't care if you're a girl or boy. Dribbling on your clothes and leaving slime on the floor, they leave their presence on the handle of every door. So when you're tucked up in bed tight, don't worry at what those noises are amidst the quiet. Don't be tempted to investigate and go downstairs. You might just catch them unawares. Then they'll make you scream and run like mad, urgently seeking out your mum and dad. You would have wave your arms, listening for every sound. The problem is, there will not a single monster to be found. There you go, February 2022. I hope you like that. All about monsters, kids lying in bed, totally unaware that there is an evil monster lying under their bed. And that is this has been submitted, like I say. If you're interested, email me or see me on Facebook, watch this channel, send me a message, get in touch with me on Instagram, and I'll respond to you. And thank you for listening to these poems, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.